What else is broken?
Well, the shower thing happened where the shower leaked. Our fridge broke when Sarah was pregnant. I just didn't wait for them. I just called somebody and had them fix it.
And you paid for it?
I took it out of the rent.
Ugh. That makes sense. That's good.
I just didn't want to. I mean, it was summertime, and I didn't want to.
And like the entire porch is fucking broken or some shit, isn't it?
Yeah, but the porch, you can still walk on it. That's fine. That one doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me that like the entire front of my house might fall down.
No, that stuff's fine. It just needs a fresh coat of paint. So what happened? Like the dial on the dryer was broke when we moved in. I fixed that. We had the whole beehive thing or wasp hive that I had to call an exterminator for. We had the fridge broke and I couldn't get a hold of him, so I had to call someone for that. And then we had the shower leak, and now we have the oven. Mm-hmm. So I lived in that Brooklyn apartment for almost 3 years. Not a single thing went wrong.
Yeah.
The apartment I lived in with J18, not a single thing went wrong. The apartment I lived in before that never went wrong. Union City had mice, but like all the shit worked in it. Why? It's just one place.
Because now you're living in a house, and houses fucking break.
It's true. I was like going to make dinner. I was like, this oven is not preheating. There's no heat whatsoever coming out of this oven. Yeah,
my oven's been awful forever. I'm currently preheating our oven, and I'm guessing by the time we finish this, to 2 hours after I hit the start button, it's still going to be broken. It's still not going to be there.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a similar thing that's wrong on both of them. Ours just won't. I think I researched. I think I know what happened, but it's like a whole part that you have to replace.
Yeah, I think it's just New Jersey.
Yeah,
I think New Jersey is just destroying everything. I think the lack of fluoride is slowly decaying everything.
Does that bug you that we don't have fluoride in our water? It bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, it bugs me because I found out like apparently the dentists just go, you're not from here, are you? Nope. Yeah, your teeth are too good.
My teeth aren't. It's a hot mess in there.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck. I have like 3 teeth that are decaying. It's gross.
Yeah, from where we come from, in the land of Illinois, where Nick and Chris are from, apparently Erin has bad teeth, and so, she has lots of cavities or whatever. Out here, oh no, they're stellar. She's wonderful.
It's in Florida. It makes you worry about our kids' teeth.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
Neither do I.
You want to just get started?
Sure.
All right. Hey everybody, welcome to Two Dumb Dads. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And this is episode 35 for September 21st. If you're listening this week, well, first of all, hey, thank you. Appreciate it. We didn't have an episode last week.
Nope.
Yeah, it turns out when you have kids and you're doing a thing with kids and you're trying to record out of your house, schedules get screwed up.
And stuff like that.
We're going to try and do better about keeping you all up to date on it and trying to keep you informed. But for now, just know that we're very sorry that we missed an episode, and we're going to try and get back on schedule now.
It is that flu season, though.
It is
that flu season.
It's that flu season.
Have you gotten your flu shot yet?
I did, because they had them at work.
Oh, I missed that day. Did Tia get her flu shot?
Yeah, she got hers at her doctor's appointment.
I know. I have to take Miles to get his.
That's a good idea.
I know.
So, speaking of the flu,
yes,
we're going to watch people just spurt vomit out of their mouths and forth. All right. So, Nick, this was your brainchild. I'm going to let you introduce this concept.
All right. So, I had a really great brainchild, as Chris said it, where I thought we could do 2 specials because we're coming into the holiday season, and it is there's 2 big holidays coming up that are my favorite and your favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite is Halloween.
The holiday of the devil when everybody hates each other.
Yeah, or when you dress up and play pretend even though you're an adult.
No, they hate each other.
And candy. But I love scary movies. And so my idea is that for Halloween, we will do one main episode where I make Chris watch a horror movie.
Because I hate horror movies.
Because he hates them.
I despise them.
I want to make him go to a haunted house, but I figure I'll start with this.
No.
I'm gonna make a bet where I make you go
until we're doing video and we can record me walking through the haunted house. No,
I might figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, you better find a whole. No,
I'll figure that out. So I'm picking some movies to have Chris watch that I'm gonna try to make somewhat dad or family centric, so it fits into the theme of our joyful podcast. But for our bonus episodes, I'm going to put a poll up, and you get to choose what movie you want Chris to watch or me to watch with a couple of choices. And then Chris will be picking for me to watch some bad Chris will be picking some bad.
I want to pick some Christmas movies. Some fucking happy-go-lucky hug and kiss and fucking like, I don't know, magical shit around a campfire
Christmas
type of
Lodge,
Christmas movies.
Shitty. I hate them so much. I
have a few ideas already. Things I would think would be fun to discuss, but for the most part, I'm gonna fucking make us happy and want to hug, and Nick is gonna make me want to poop out my eyes.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. One is way more enjoyable.
Yeah, clearly. Speaking of which, we're going to be guest appearing on another podcast.
We are.
Doing literally this thing that we're talking about right now.
Which I should say is where I got kind of the idea from.
Yeah. We've been invited to appear on the podcast. Nick, what's the podcast
called?
The podcast
is A Half White Son of a Black Man. It's hosted by Andrew Sanford. I've actually done this special, which is called Shocktober, for the last 3 years. It's one of my favorite things. So we will be watching 3 movies along with Andrew. They are
Little Evil,
Mom and Dad.
So Little Evil, which is available on Netflix. Mom and Dad, which is available on Hulu, I believe, and then Carrie, the original, the old good old fashioned one with what's her face. Guys, we're too dumb to ask. We don't pay attention to names.
Wait. John Travolta's in that movie.
Is he really?
Yes.
That's awesome. I don't really care about him. It's just what's her face. What's her face and her mom? Who's it's?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna be watching the original Carrie, for the half white
son of a black man,
half white son of a black man podcast. I've heard wonderful things about this series that he does during October. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my first time appearing on it. It'll be our first time appearing on it as a podcast duo.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun. So if you aren't listening to that, you should definitely go listen to some Shocktober. You can go back and listen to previous Shocktobers. They're all really good. He does it for like the month.
Yeah. So with that being said, for our version of this, we don't have a fancy snazzy title yet. We'll figure that out when I have to title a thing.
We will.
But at least for our first episode, we're gonna have our first episode just come out in our usual stream. We're gonna watch A Quiet Place.
Yes.
Nick, tell us about your thoughts on A Quiet Place.
So the reason why I picked
don't think about your thought. We're going to do that on the episode.
But I'll say why I picked this movie. So one, it was incredibly well reviewed, which I think is important. So it's a quote unquote good movie. You love John Krasinski for your love of The Office.
I love John Krasinski.
And I love John Krasinski.
And Emily Blunt. She's so wonderful.
Yes, and Emily Blunt.
She's charming.
She is. And they're together. And it's John Krasinski's directing debut. But also a cool little side note is the creator is from our hometown.
Wait, really?
Yes, from Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, cool. Who is it?
I don't know how the name off the top of my head.
How the fuck? We could know this guy.
We could actually.
We could like be in his next movie.
They actually went and did the premiere at the Davenport 53, Bettendorf 53 cinemas.
Oh, cool.
So I thought that'd be.
I didn't even know that place was still open.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
There's only 2 theaters there, buddy.
Well, I didn't know there were even that many anymore.
You haven't been home in a while.
Nobody goes to movies anymore.
I go to movies.
Well, so do I, but I go to them like the dirtiest theater possible.
Yeah, because you're weird.
Well, because I like to support small business. Anyway, We're going to be watching A Quiet Place. Unfortunately, I don't think this is available anywhere. I think you can buy it on Amazon or something.
Yeah, Amazon or iTunes or VOD or...
Yeah, we're going to try and do all of the other episodes. First of all of our subsequent episodes will be bonus episodes, which means it's going to take place at the monthly download, our video game series. But we're also going to try and make sure that those are available on like Netflix or Hulu, or one of the streaming services, so you can try and save some money. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into our usually scheduled programming with the Adventures in Dadding.
Adventure.
I'm going to go ahead and go first because I suspect your adventures in dadding are probably just going to be your topic.
Probably.
So I'm going to go ahead and dive in with talking about myself, quite frankly.
It's a good topic.
It is. I mean, especially on a topic about being on a podcast basically about us. Talking about myself, it's good.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show much, but my daughter, Thea, she's had low iron since as long as I can remember. Which is obviously 2 years ago.
I can't remember if you have talked about it really.
I don't know. The point is, she has low iron. She's a little anemic, and so she's always had to take some iron supplements. Mm-hmm. It's just like a little dropper of iron, like liquid iron. You drop it in her milk, you drop it in her orange juice, and ta-da! She has iron.
So you're saying she's Iron Man?
She's Iron Man. She's That's Iron awesome. Woman. I believe she's technically Iron Woman or Iron
Heart.
Girl.
It's Iron Heart.
Iron Girl.
Iron Girl. Okay.
And so essentially what this means is like every day we had to start, remember like, okay, do this, put these things in and shake it and then give it to her. So recently, she's been they've started cutting her back off of that iron because she's starting to get better. And so that means we're only doing a dropper of iron every other day. It turns out I am really bad with little details. And my wife has told me this for a long time, to which I have always argued with her and like bickered about this. And of course I will always find a way to say, no, it's not me. It's you. You are clearly the one doing something wrong. Which goes over well. Like, don't get me wrong.
This is a whole bigger topic of Chris always being right.
It is don't get me wrong. Like, this is a wonderful thing for a marriage, just so you know. Like, clearly in this moment, you've all just learned that my wife is a saint. Nick is a jerk, but my wife is a saint.
Sure. I broke the same shit your wife does, but for not longer anymore.
So my point, so this morning and ever since we have been supposed to cut back on her iron, my wife has been doing everything she can to help me remember which day is an iron day and which day is a non-iron day. So she's put it in our like Google Calendar on our phone. She's made it so that it sends me an alert at like 7:30 a.m. when I usually make her juice. She reminds me. She's tried putting it on the calendar. It doesn't matter what you do though. When I wake up and I go over to that kitchen and I start making her orange juice in the morning, I cannot remember which day is which. And in my stupor, I just go, no, I think I put it in there yesterday. Or, no, I don't think I put it in there yesterday. I'm just going to put that little drop right in there. And
why don't you get like a calendar and mark it every time you do?
Because because then I'll forget to mark it. Like, legitimately, I would just like, nope, forgot it today.
You should just let your wife
and like, that is literally what's going on. Well, that's the thing, right? I'm the cook. My wife wakes up 10 minutes before she has to run out the door. I'm the one who wakes up at 5 o'clock, goes for a run, comes back, makes breakfast, makes orange juice, makes lunch, all that kind of stuff.
Could she make it the night before?
I mean, you could, but then again, it's a little detail that we would have to remember. So I have no idea how to fix this. We are trying, but I have officially, after many years of bickering with my wife about, no, I'm not bad at details. You're just bad at... Nah, I'm bad at details, guys. It's true.
Did she do it and I told you so?
My name is Chris, and I am bad with little details. No, because I didn't, like, we bickered about it this morning. Like, I argued with her, like, no, I was just a little, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, oh, no, she got extra iron today. Did she eat a hamburger this afternoon? Same thing. I didn't go that far into it, but that was the tone of it.
Make you feel better. You know how we're supposed to put fluoride drops in like their milk and stuff because of where we live?
No.
Oh.
I mean, we just give her a multivitamin with fluoride in it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've done that in the past year?
Hopefully at least once.
Maybe a handful.
Oof.
Because I'm the same thing. I just forget.
See, I'm really good about remembering to do all of this stuff. It's just like that one, like which one is it iron? So we have to put probiotic in her orange juice. We have to put multivitamin in her orange juice, and then we have to put iron in her orange juice. And so some days I'm really good about all the other ones, but like things I'm bad about. I don't shake the orange juice before I pour it in. I don't shake the vitamin before I scoop it up in the little sucker.
How do you bake? Because baking is all kinds of little shit.
Because it's all like, I don't know. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I just do, and it turns out well.
I feel like you should just make like a little post-it note that has the instructions for what you do every day.
And that's the thing. Like, I know what I do every day. It's when I'm supposed to do it. And like, I don't know. I'm not an orange juice stringer, so I don't remember like, oh, you have to squishy up the orange juice before you pour it. And this, like, I don't know.
Just get pulp free. You don't have to shake it.
We do get pulp free.
You still shake it?
Wait. Oh my God, are you telling me that's because there's pulp in there? That's why you shake it?
Yeah, because
the
pulp,
God.
like...
Am I going to get to hold this over my wife's head?
I'm pretty sure you get to... I'm pretty sure that's why you shake
Nick,
it.
I want to give you a huge hug if this is true.
I mean, that's how I always understood.
I'm totally going to Google this after we're
You
done.
should.
But then I'm like, if this is true, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna pour the orange juice over my head.
Because think about it. There's nothing to settle because the pulp is gone.
I don't know. There's stuff in orange juice. Like, there's vitamin C. Maybe the vitamin C doesn't get mixed up.
You might need to shake it like initially because the liquid, but I'm pretty sure it's like you could just pour that shit.
All right. I might have a win here. Nick?
I don't want to be a part of your win. Your wife takes care of my baby a lot.
I mean, yeah, and I'm just like, I'm literally going to state this to her. It's like, well, Nick said.
Oh, she won't believe you. Whenever I say anything, neither of you believe me.
That's true. That's true.
I could be like, the world is ending and fireballs me coming out and you both be like,
No, it didn't hit me. It would have hit me
fine.
first. Like, let's be clear. If there are fireballs falling from the heavens, the first one's coming for this guy.
It's imaginary.
It hit your kid? Nah, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It didn't hit my kid. Nick, what's your adventure in dadding this week?
My adventure in dadding.
A fireball hit my kid.
Yeah, exactly. My kid is a fireball. So I think my adventure in dadding is going to be kind of a transition into our main topic this week.
So let's just do that.
Okay. So what I think we're talking about this week is toddler tantrums.
Okay.
So let me preface this before we get into with kind of my adventure.
Yeah.
My dad.
There you go.
So my wife was doing so in her job she works Fashion Week and she has 2 shows and she's gone a lot and also
she's really fancy, y'all.
She is really fancy. And so we had that happen. So she was gone. We had switch in schedule because work is starting, which means Miles is having to get up like an hour earlier than he used to. And he's just a toddler. So I went through a week and a half maybe of just massive tantrums. I mean, everything. And not last week, but the weekend before was especially bad. To the point that I was completely and utterly overwhelmed. And it's not the fact that like I'm fine with letting him have the tantrum and not giving into the tantrum because I understand like that's how you deal with it. But the fact is like when it's so constant and it is just everything and there's no one to take the weight off for a second, it is like fighting a war. Or like Game of Thrones and my watch was done. I was guarding the Northern Wall against White Walkers that all look like my son.
I mean, yeah, because like the whole thing about a tantrum is like your kids crying are like genetically designed to make you feel bad. Like the whole point is like, okay, my kid's in trouble. I have to go rush and save them. Here, we put on my cape. Super daddy to the rescue.
And for the most part, I'm pretty good about like that stuff doesn't get to me. Like I can let him cry. It's like the sleeping thing, right? Like after like 2 days, I had no problem sleep training. So I was like, you know what? He's gonna cry and it's gonna be fine. He's gonna go to sleep and he'll be better for it later on. But it was the consistency of this. And there's other tantrum things like he'll hit. Like when you get really upset, he'd hit because he didn't want to be touched, or he did want to touch, he didn't, but then he'd hit you and like he hit my glasses off my face at one point, and that's something we don't want him to do. But like I'll get into this aspect of it. So it was just really, really hard. And what we found out was I think a lot of it had to do with the change in his schedule because that's a pretty big change. And also Sarah just not being there and him wanting her. Because when Sarah came back home, he still has them, but it drastically changed to the point that last weekend was really good. Like we were over here and I think we had one mini tantrum because the kids were fighting over something. That's nothing to me. That's just kids being kids and not being able to communicate vocally. So that I can deal with. These were not that. And I think a lot of it was just needing Sarah to be home. So that's, I will say there's a bright spot to all of this that I would love to point out because I think it's important.
Sure.
So I was with him last Friday, and kind of my adventure in dadding, and this is with all this happening, I understand that the tantrums are part of his development, but it's really cool to watch him experience things in a way that only a kid can. So I took him to the park on Friday, and we were there for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And it had just rained, and he was putting his hand on the water on the bench and just kind of playing with it. And there was something so like cool about watching that as a dad, to watch him like experience this new thing and like figure it out, that it reminds you with all the other stuff that's going on that there's these aspects that we just as adults just don't experience shit like that. It's cool. It just was a cool thing. It was a cool moment.
Everything is new for the first time right now. And it's like, oh, cool. I just figured this thing out.
Yeah.
It was really great.
So that was my adventure. And I just like to reappreciate like these cool things that are also happening while recovering from the last weekend.
So as we enter into our big conversation for this episode, talking about toddler tantrums and everything, I feel like it's important that we figure out exactly what our goal is here. Are we trying to figure out how to solve toddler tantrums? Are we talking about just how fucking miserable it is for us as parents? What exactly is it that you want to discuss when it comes to this?
So the couple of things I was thinking about when all this was happening, especially once Sarah came home and you have the other parent dynamic, right? So one of the things that I was experiencing a lot was like, how do you not give into it? Because that's like the big thing, right?
Okay.
Is how do you not give in? the other thing is, what do you do when you don't know what it's for? So one of the big tantrums he'd have is he'd have them when he'd wake up and he would just be upset. And there was no rhyme or reason. So I didn't know how to comfort him. I didn't know how to... it wasn't a tantrum over not having something. It was just a tantrum. Also, what do you do when your partner wants to deal with it differently than you? Like when you're on the page of what you want to do parenting, but the things that set you off, the things that you struggle with are different.
No, you're very literally talking about not being on the same page. Like one person wants to give in and cave so the kid will shut up, and the other person wants to keep holding out.
So, this is what was happening with us so when he hits, right, that's one of my wife's big things she doesn't want him to do. And so she's much more apt to put him in a timeout, but he only really hits when he's having a tantrum. And so we have this dichotomy of when do you use the timeout in the tantrum? Like when do you not just let him be, or when does he do something that you should discipline him for? And should you discipline him when he's having a tantrum, or is that a different thing? I don't know. There's a lot of like parenting things going on. And the other thing that I found was is how do you not get mad? Because I understand I can't get mad at him, right? Because he's not, but that's at some point, which is what happens again, like that becomes the visceral reaction. Like, you're just angry to the point where like after putting to bed, I just kind of sat in silence for an hour because I wasn't mad at him. I was just upset and angry. But how do you combat that? I don't know.
So
I have a lot of shit in my head.
So I don't know. I think a lot of the problem or a lot of the issue is just like, I don't think you do fix that, right? Like that's why being a parent to a toddler is so fucking painful. It's just because like, yeah, they're going to have these tantrums because they just don't understand the world. And I think what's important is that you remember two things. Like number one, like typically when a kid's having a tantrum, I personally think it's because something is going wrong in their world. And
they have no way to express what that thing is.
I don't even necessarily want to say that they don't have a way of expressing it, but I feel like for example, we've been having some problems with Thea lately. So Thea has been, I don't know, she's been toddlering, right?
Yeah.
She's having meltdowns. She's having tantrums. She wants to be near mommy 24/7. She doesn't want people to touch her stuff. She doesn't want to share. And these were all skills that she was very, very good at. Maybe not sharing, but most of these were very, very good, that she was very good at. Mm. And we went through probably about 3 or 4 weeks where we were just like really having a hard time with this. Like she was starting to hit. She wanted to act like a baby. She was going goo goo gaga. She didn't want to.
Did she really saying goo goo gaga?
Oh, yeah, no, she was going through.
That's where Miles learned that because he came home saying it one day. Interesting.
So Sorry. It could be that. It could be where this is going. Mm-hmm. And that is what we realize is that Thea has been at school since she was 6 weeks old. Mm-hmm. So for Thea, school isn't school. School is home.
An extension of home.
And so recently, because it's, back to school time and kids are getting older, kids are, getting to that age where they start to attend a school. Well, Thea's school has just gotten 4 or 5 new kids. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like Thea just got 4 or 5 new siblings all at once who are all younger than her, for the most part younger than her, I should say, and subsequently getting more attention and privileges that she used to get. Mm-hmm. And subsequently when Erin, I mean, look, I'm not going to I didn't fucking realize any of this. I was just like, well, shit, kid's a toddler. I guess she's toddling. Mm-hmm. Subsequently, when Erin figured this out the other day, she just went, okay, so Thea needs a little bit more attention. She needs a little bit more mommy time so that she knows, look, mommy's not paying more attention to these other kids because mommy loves them more. It's because we're at school and this is where mommy has to work sometimes. So I'm going to rock you to bed more nights than I was just trying to get her to be in her crib and working on her sleep habit. Like we all know our sleep issues. If you've listened to this podcast, my kid does not sleep well. Mm-hmm. She was finally starting to do well, and then she regressed. Yeah, and so we decided, okay, mommy's gonna rock you to sleep a few more times. Like instead of putting you in the crib and then patting your back and walking away, we let Erin rock her to sleep fully so she could snuggle and nuzzle. We've let Aaron feed her a little bit more on the couch and stuff while we're eating dinner or whatever. And what we've realized is like, okay, in doing this, we've started to get her back on track towards making progress. Like she's willing to sleep on the toilet again. She's
sit on the toilet, not sleep on the toilet?
Did I say sleep on the
You
toilet?
said sleep on the toilet.
Sorry.
I mean, listen, sometimes you gotta sleep on the toilet.
I fall asleep on the toilet on a nightly basis. I just come down, I take those fire poops
like,
and I'm done. I'm done. I'm just sleeping here. She'll sit on the toilet and try and go potty again. Like when I put her to bed, I'll read her book and she will go straight to bed, and I'll pat her back a couple times and leave, and she won't wake up. We've had 2 or 3 nights in a row now where she slept through the night again.
Nice.
So I think it was just she was having a really hard time essentially having a new kid basically in her life. She basically had a new sibling.
So do you think, just so going back kind of...
Yeah, so to bring this full circle, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I realized I was just rambling about my life instead of bringing this full circle.
No, but I have a question about that I'm wondering perspective-wise.
So essentially what I'm trying to say is I think that to some extent when a kid's having a tantrum, what's happening is that there's something wrong in their world and you have the solution to it. You just have to figure out what that solution is. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes that solution is literally just, sorry, the lesson here has to be you have to share, you can't hit, so on and so forth. But sometimes I think the solution is more akin to the world is treating you unfairly, and I have to let you know I'm here to help you. That I will take care of you.
Yeah, I think you're right, because like I said, once Sarah came home and he got his mom, that was the first step, right?
Right. He felt abandoned by his mother,
which totally makes sense. And then the getting up early, that's just his schedule changing, and there's no real way that I can fix that just based on my work schedule and what it is. Like that's just kind of
right. And that's the thing, right? Well, yeah. I don't know.
Unless
you're right, but I don't know if you're right, because obviously in our particular dynamic there might be ways to solve issues, but we can talk about that off mic.
Yeah, it's something that we'll talk about. But anyway, so the schedule change happens regardless because it's this time of year, and he eventually will get to that. And I also understand that he's in a phase where like he doesn't like to always be left at school, so there's that part, but it ends fairly quickly. The thing that I found interesting about Thea with the tantrum and figuring out how to fix it, right? Because again, I think you're totally on point. I wonder with Thea though too, if some of that is she got, like you've said it, she always had extra attention at school. So not only did she have the extension of home, there was extra attention given to her based on the situation of her being the boss's daughter,
right? And
that changed. So it's funny thing about it, not only did that dynamic change normally, it probably changed to an even greater extent.
Yeah.
But then I always wonder, like, this is the whole thing of like not giving in, essentially. Like, how much of that should you fix, or should you allow them to adjust, because she's not going to have extra attention. So it's almost like reverting back to you have more attention than everybody else. Like, I wonder. I just think that would be hard, right? I mean, it obviously worked, which is good.
So I'm not sure what you mean by how much should you fix. Are you saying like should they stop treating her special? Because yes, they should.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Fix that,
so,
but it's never going to happen because it's the boss's daughter.
Well, that's what kind of happened, and then she was having issues with it. So should you fix it, right? Or should you let her adjust, or is she just too young? Are you just too young to let that happen at this point?
So what I'll say is it didn't actually, she still gets special attention.
Yeah.
She had her birthday less than a month ago, and for her birthday, so this was a really crappy thing that actually kind of upset Aaron. I guess because she's the boss's daughter and everybody knows is Thea, I guess all the teachers and everybody brought her in special presents.
Oh,
it's really sweet. But then they gave them to her in front of all the other students who don't get those presents for their birthday.
I see what you're saying.
Like the owners of the school, who she spends like after the school closes and she's still there because my wife sees clients as part of the social work practice. She hangs out with the owners. She like has a snack with them, eats dinner, whatever the thing is. Usually it's just a snack and whatever.
They watch Elmo.
They do stuff.
Yeah.
The point is, during that time, like that's when like she hangs out with them as like a babysitter / second daddy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Made me really uncomfortable for a long time, but now that she loves me, it's okay.
Now that I've got some daddy love.
Now that she actually like wakes up and starts looking for daddy, no, it's okay. It's
I'm
cool.
good.
But so like they spend like the owners gave her special presents during that time, away from all the other kids, away from all the other teachers. Like, okay, here, this is a special thing that we're doing for you because you're special because of this type of situation that we have.
Yeah.
The teachers, on the other hand, nah. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Bobby. Look at this. I got Thea a present. Here, Thea. It's like, oh, that's really, that's not okay.
It's not, but I'm sure the older kids kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like,
there are no older kids anymore.
There's still some like 4-year-olds there.
How does Miles feel about it, do you think?
Miles probably
Miles probably doesn't
Miles
know.
wants a book, a baby sharky, and a pretzel, and he's totally fine.
Yeah, Miles probably thought that was his present too or something. I don't know. But anyway, the point is like she still got all of that special attention. She was used to being like constantly held and touched and whatever like the babies were, but now she's moving into the big kid phase of her life. And so one of the things we've started trying to do is like, okay, you're a big kid now. Big kids don't do like kid.
We had a whole episode about
So,
big kids, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Totally
no, I know.
Yeah,
That's what we're like. This is how we're trying to transition.
yeah.
And so like big kids don't call it baby sharky. They call it baby shark. They
Yeah.
don't call it. They don't go goo goo gaga. They just talk. They, big kids. But look, big kids also get to use a big person glass. You don't see no more sippy pot. No, you don't want a sippy cup. You're a big kid now. So we've had an Avengers coffee cup that's just way too big for any human like usage. But
Yeah.
it's been hanging in the kitchen, kind of collecting dust for a while. She's always wanted to hold it and play with it and use it for stuff. So finally, I just kind of went, all right, you're a big kid now. I cleaned it, obviously. But
Yeah,
like, here's
yeah.
the coffee cup.
Here's a dirty cup
Here's
for
your
you.
like grease covered like dust and laden coffee. Like yeah, like it made her really excited. And so we're trying to show her like, look, being a big kid is a good thing that you get to like, yes, you're leaving behind all those baby things that you've grown so attached to, but look at all these new privileges you're getting. Big kids get to ride their bicycle, but little kids can't ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
And so we're working on that. Like that's kind of how we're trying to, and so far it's been working pretty well.
That's awesome.
What have you guys been trying for Miles?
Honestly, last week I was just trying to get through it. I mean,
Last week I put him in a cage.
Yeah. I put him in a crib at one point.
Yeah, you put him in a cage.
I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, and like this is something that I think is kind of more unique to our situation that I go through is that, you know, twice a year there's a span where it's just kind of me for a week.
Sure.
And with everything going on, it was a lot of just getting through it until Sarah got home. Just getting through the day. And so, I mean, I'll be honest, like we talk about like good parenting, it was more about like, you want to watch it? Great. We're watching some Elmo, we're watching some Baby Shark, we're watching some Coco. I just anything I could do to get him through the day. And
I mean, look, for a couple days, that's not bad parenting. I mean, sometimes you just have to do what you got to do.
yeah. And so here's the thing. I intellectually understand that because someone made a comment like, you should do something other than watch TV. And my comment to them was, you do what you got to do.
I mean, look, parent shaming is, tops on the list of things in the world. I mean, shit, that may have even been me.
It wasn't. It was someone who doesn't have kids.
Okay. Well, yeah, of course it is.
And that was,
It's always a person without kids.
yeah. And so listen, it was getting through it. The next week then was trying to figure out, okay, so like he had, Sarah came home, that helped. So last week we spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours at the playground because that was the other thing. It rained that whole weekend, so I couldn't take him anywhere.
Sure.
And the one time we were, which is coming over here, he finally fell asleep in the car, and I was like,
"Fuck you guys, we're going home."
Yep. I was like, "Here's some soda, and you gave me some chicken wings," and I was like, "Thank you."
I'm filling up the tank, and we're just going to drive in circles for the next 8 hours. That's
because I just need him to nap. So what we're doing now is I'm trying to figure out. Is it a more energy thing? Does he need more stimulus? Is it just one of the things I did was I bought him, which kind of worked. I bought him those cardboard blocks, and so he can knock them down. So if he gets angry for I just build him up and let him and that worked. It becomes a game. So I try to make a game out of it.
Structured activities is always a great thing to help kids like free focus because it's like, okay, there's a set of rules, there's a process. We're gonna move on to this other thing, and I'll focus on that instead of whatever's upsetting me.
And now that Sarah's
redirecting is what Aaron always says.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the terminology.
Redirect
the attention.
And now that Sarah's back, it's a lot easier because you have two parents who can manage it. And he's doing way better. Like I said, we were over here last weekend. He was fine. He's sleep regressing a little bit, but that's not at night. but naps.
Yeah, and they said that he didn't nap at all yesterday.
No, he did. I mean, then he still sleeps. So it's funny. It's like I feel bad because it doesn't affect us at all because he still sleeps all night, but it's hard on them. But he hasn't been angry. That was what surprised me last weekend. The thing that I dealt with that was really hard for me was how do I not get upset when all this is happening? How do you manage? So I would love to kind of dig into that. It's like, how do we as parents, even within your relationship, because I'm sure you and Aaron have moments of when you're having trouble with the frustration with each other, but just for me, like, how do you deal with that when because I can't be frustrated with my son. Right? I can, but I can't take it out on him. It's not his fault. I will say I did a really good job with that. I didn't really get angry at him because I was proud of myself for that. But I didn't know what to do. I felt very helpless as a parent because.
So are you talking about like in the moment or as a larger kind of all-encompassing?
That weekend it was in the moment and past it because I was so fried and I felt like a bad parent because I was like, I love my son, but I just want him to sleep or I just want to be away from him or I just want to and I've never really had that feeling before where I was like, I want to be away.
So from a point of privilege, having a 2-family household, the thing we've always kind of done is like, okay, hey, I need a moment. I have to go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah.
And the other person just kind of handles, like I'm tired. I'm going to go upstairs and take a nap type of thing. And then the other parent just handles it. From the perspective of somebody who doesn't have that benefit, maybe a single parent household or you over the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, look, sometimes taking a deep breath, sometimes just fucking drinking a lot of bourbon.
It was more the guilt of it, though. You know, like last week when you talked about Thea, 2 weeks ago when you talked about the Thea running right to Aaron and like that affecting you, that was the effect that I had because it's not that I didn't love my kid. It was that I didn't want to be with him in that moment. And it had this really like, I felt bad and I felt guilty, but it didn't change. It really was emotionally hard. By Sunday, I was just like, I want him to sleep for 4 hours.
I mean, I think that's natural. I do. I do. I think it's okay. And look, I know you know it's okay, but I think it's okay. I think, especially when you have been having like full on responsibilities, I think it's a perfectly natural thing. Like, you know what I really wish I could do right now? I wish I could like put this kid in a cage for a day and fucking turn on a video game and just not deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's a word. I don't literally put your kid.
No, because that would be child abuse. But
it turns out, the government typically doesn't shine highly on that.
They frown on that.
I think it's a perfectly natural thing to not want to be around your kids sometimes. I think it's a very important thing to not be around your kids sometimes.
Yeah.
Like frankly, in that situation, like get a fucking babysitter, send the kid to daycare for the day, and take a you day. Yeah, and you should, and you fucking should.
But then there's the financial implications of that too. Like you can't always do that.
And that is the situation. Look, if we are privileged people where we have reasonable jobs where we can typically afford $20 for an hour of us time. If not, people can, like grandma, grandpa, hopefully you have that ability. And if you don't, then that is a shitty situation.
It really, this weekend really put into perspective because, I mean, everything I've read, like other parents talk to, this is a really tough phase. It's a cool phase. Like there's a lot of cool shit that's happening too. Like these transitions to being a bigger kid and learning new words and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But it's fucking hard. It is a hard phase of parenting. And I'm always like, and it's like 2 years long. Like it's just the start of this.
Yeah. I mean, we've been pretty fortunate so far that everything that we've faced has been mitigated by a realization. Like we were able to realize what was going on at school, and so that solved a lot of problems. We put a kibosh to a lot of the initial problems, things like the mines, the hitting and stuff like that. We've been fortunate enough to, like, it's very clear now that she knows she's not supposed to hit people. Like sometimes she still does it because she thinks it's a game, and that's a difficult like thing to work on, but she hasn't had a lot of tantrums and all of that stuff since. I also think she's just like this is going to sound really dumb because I know it's completely inaccurate, but it kind of seems like she's skipping through phases pretty quickly right now.
Yeah, she very well might be.
Like she's kind of skipped past that, like, oh, I put together 1 or 2 words phase that like kids go through in development. It's like, I want to start asking about who every item I find belongs to and whether or not I can figure out a way to steal it from them.
You know what's funny? I find this really cool from your outside parent perspective. She didn't skip that phase. You just didn't notice it as much.
That could be.
Because we all noticed it. Because I told you the one day I came over, I was like, oh, now I can understand her. And you guys were like, because you're her parents and you hear all the time, like, oh, no. I was like, no, now someone not you. So I think she did it. But I will say when it clicked, it was really, and you're like, when she clicked it, I was like, holy shit.
There was definitely like one day where she came home and was like, oh yeah, you're saying sentences now.
Yeah, it's really cool when that starts to happen. I noticed it with her too, but I definitely saw her go through that phase. But I definitely don't think, from my perspective, you go through the same tantrum phase that we have. She does not seem nearly as stubborn as Miles is.
I definitely think, I'm sorry, I totally just like, I zoned out and was thinking about our whatever again. Like, I think it's really important to find ways of taking personal time. For example, we have gym memberships that have 2 hours of what is it? Fucking child watch. So like, look, you got that day with your kid. I'm going to child watch. I am going to like shove this kid into like 1 hour and 59 minutes and 59 seconds of child watch. And if I do nothing more than like sit on the treadmill, like sit in a chair, or like there's a lounge. If I just go and sit in the lounge literally right next door to this kid, whatever, I'm going to go take some me time. I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to stare at Facebook if I have to.
And I did that, and I'm very lucky that Miles really likes the child watch now. Like they all really like him. Like he gets there and he's like, okay, give him a book. But that was the other thing that happened with it being rainy. This one of the days I went to try to do that, he lost it. Like he lost it before I even got to the door, and I was like,
yeah,
not even gonna try. It was like a perfect storm of like, and I think again, like you said, figuring out what it was. I think it was Sarah being gone and the schedule change.
Here's a question I have for you, because this is one of the other things that I tried doing while we were. Shit,
you're making noise, Chris.
I spilled my water.
Oh no.
So one of the things, I'll fucking clean up later. So one of the things I was thinking about while you were, like, because we text each other a few times, and you're like, "Oh my god, Chris, I'm gonna kill everybody."
Yeah.
Not my kid. My kid's gonna be wonderful, but I'm gonna
everyone else I'm gonna kill.
Was like, I think I remember at one point or another, I was like, well, why don't we get together and we'll hang out, and like that way there's 3 people for these 2 kids instead of 1 person for 1 kid. And you're just like, no, he's melting down. I don't want you to deal with this. And we're like, well, that's literally the fucking reason we're trying to do this. So here's my question: do you think it could have helped to just say, I realize he's upset. I think I need to just like spread out this whatever amongst other people so that I have a little bit of mental freedom.
I think in retrospect, yeah. I think in the moment though, so because this is what was going through my thing is, one, he was having a meltdown, and I always have that moment of like, Erin deals with him on it, and not that she doesn't like him, but like she deals with him a lot, right? But I think like the idea, so I had him melting down, and that was frustrating me. And then the idea of like taking him someplace, even though it would give me relief, and the idea of like thinking I would have to be social I was just so overwhelmed. And I don't know if you've ever been so overwhelmed that you're paralyzed by like, I can't, like, had you guys shown up
every day? Like if I'm around people longer than an hour, my thought is like, oh my god, I wish I was on the couch playing a video game.
I wasn't quite there, but I think had you guys come, not saying this is what you should have, but I think like had you showed up and been like, hey, I would have been like, oh, hey, come in, and that would have been fine. But like the idea of going anywhere or like asking someone to go was like my own parental guilt of being like, I was that guy guilt, right? Like I can handle this. I need to handle this. There was it happening, which stressed me out. And then there was the thought of like, I don't know if I can be social with anybody.
I mean, and I'm sure there's also that fear of like other parents are going to judge me because my kid's melting down and theirs isn't. Like they were able to get here with their kid who's not melting down, and now they're going to have to like, and then God forbid they fucking fix your kid while he's melting down, and you're like, fuck you. Yeah. I've been dealing with this shit for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you walk in and magically he's fucking okay.
You know what's funny? I don't think your wife would judge me. I think you would judge me.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, see, this is all you had to do, Nick. Because hey Miles, Nick, watch this. Here's a book. Boom!
Well,
I fucking solved it.
Because here's the thing, Erin would come in and she would be like, developmentally, this is normal and it's totally fine. Hold on, let me get some coloring books and I'll color with them.
Hey, Miles, high five, dude. Bam!
And honestly,
we got this done.
It probably would have been fine. That's exactly what probably would have happened because you would have seen Erin and you and that would have been like, oh, I like these two people. I don't like him right now.
Sure.
But like the idea of like, and our house is wrecked. I just like, you know the episode of Gilmore Girls when he's on his own with the kid and like she walks into the house and it's just destroyed?
Sure.
That was me. That was where I was at.
And that, look, and I totally get that.
And
like,
it's hard to ask for help sometimes.
And it's totally hard to ask for help. And sometimes I think just like the best way to like end a toddler tantrum is to put them next to a friend. Cause it's like, hey, Miles, buddy. Let's wreck this shit together. And then it's like combine and everything just like burns. The world burns, but they're doing great.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think Sunday was. Other than the couple like fights over like the stroller thing or like.
I mean, they're kids. They fucking, I don't know if you remember when you were a kid. I don't remember when I was their age, but I don't know if you remember when you were a kid. I fought with my friends constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to go on the trampoline. No, let's go on the trampoline. Fuck it. That's just like, you're going to fight with your friends, but you're still happy to be with them.
Yeah. And that was definitely what was happening. It's going to be an interesting journey, I think, dealing with toddlers. And I think it's going to be something that's going to constantly come up because the other thing we're learning about Miles, and I think this is a good thing, he's stubborn because he's smart. And you realize that. And I think it's going to be really great, but I think it's going to be like, it's going to be a challenge too.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens.
Yep.
But that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll check in with this more or less every week from here on out.
Probably.
Hopefully eventually they'll get married and then it'll become somebody else's problem.
Truth.
But for now, we're going to go ahead and move into emails, which is our way of saying we don't have any. We would love to hear from you. Come and tell us your toddler tantrum issues. Make us feel better about ours.
Or if you have any other suggestions for when they're having tantrums of things you've tried that have worked.
Please refrain from sending us muffles or that's what the dogs have,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
Muzzles. Guys, I'm not good with words.
You should just keep going.
You can send us those to Wait, nope, that's not it. That's not it anymore.
No.
It's emails at twodumbdads.com.
That's
emails at 2dumbdads.com. We'd love to hear from you and read them on air and all that good stuff.
Yep.
But in the meantime, until we get some more of those, we're going to move into Nick's Bake-tastic Ballyhoo.
My oven's broke. There's no baking.
Oh. Recommendation.
Sad face. I got a good recommendation, so I'll go really quickly. 2 recommendations. If you have a non-toddler, enjoy that time. But the other thing is, there's a new season of a show called Atypical on Netflix.
Okay.
I fucking love it. It is extraordinary. It has Jennifer Jason Leigh in it.
Okay.
I can't remember the actor's name. He was in United States of Terror. He plays Brie Larson's younger brother. He plays a boy with autism who's 18 and like navigating becoming an adult and how you navigate that with autism and it's just cool. There's a cool brother-sister relationship. It's well acted. It's well written. I love it. It's half-an-hour episodes or 40-minute episodes, so it's fast. Like you can get through it in 2 days if you're streaming.
Oh, cool.
If you want to watch just some good writing, some really good performances, and like moments of like it has one of those shows you're like, oh fuck no, but then at the same time you're like, oh that's really great and makes you feel like uplifted in a really cool way. I give it a try.
Makes you feel all feelings.
It does. And I mean, to the point where like I know they're actors and I'm like, Sarah, how could this happen? Or that guy's so great. I was like just invested in a way that I don't usually get invested in scripted TV shows. And so I highly recommend it. I think it's really well done.
Awesome. So for my recommendation this week, I am going to recommend something that is just the top of the privilege chart.
You're really on a privilege kick.
I
lately.
really am. Like it feels super elitist what I'm about to talk about, but I think it's a really good idea if you have the means. And that is memberships. So look, here's the deal. We live in New York, New Jersey. We live in metropolitan New Jersey. And that means there are things everywhere that have memberships.
Yeah.
And I think this is starting to move around to more or less every town and every place in the world. Because I think Netflix and everything has disrupted the economy into a way that everything is going to a membership model. But the point is they're fucking amazing. We have a membership to a local YMCA. We have a membership to the local zoo. And I should say, when I say the local zoo, I mean the Turtleback Zoo rather than the Bronx Zoo, because I think the Bronx Zoo is like $5,000, and not that way. But we have thought about joining the Botanical Garden. We've thought about joining several other places. And the thing that makes these all wonderful is that it's essentially the same cost as like going a second time.
Yeah.
So I think our membership costs something like, I don't know, $100 or something. And so I think it's $10 per person. And so now that Thea's 2, that makes it $30 for us.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if we go 3, maybe 4 times, we've paid off this membership plus some. And it turns out that now we just go whenever. It's like, okay, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, we got nothing to do. I want to be out of the house. Let's just go to the zoo. And like, look, I know there's all sorts of political things about zoos, and I totally agree with you, but my fucking kid loves them, so whatever.
Privilege, Chris. Privilege.
Yeah, kind of. So like, I don't know, last Friday I took a daddy-daughter day because I had a light workload, and so I figured like, I'm just gonna not do it for a while.
Yeah.
And so I dropped off Aaron at work. I took Thea and we went to the zoo, and we just walked around for like 4 hours. It didn't cost us a dime. We didn't buy anything while we were there. We didn't get food or anything. I took a backpack full of snacks while we walked around, and we just like looked at hyenas, and we didn't feel bad about like lingering and standing we didn't feel bad like somebody else like walked in front of us, because who cares? We'll be back here next week.
Yeah.
And like for a while, Thea just wanted to play on one of the statues, and I didn't feel bad letting her play on one of the statues. It wasn't like, oh no, we spent all this money coming here and we're not even going to look at the animals. You're just going to play on this stupid statue that would have been, who cares? We'll be back here tomorrow.
I think
we'll
it's
come
funny
back in an hour if we want to.
that would bother you without a membership.
Oh yeah, no, it totally would. Like, look, don't act like it wouldn't bother you.
That's not one of the things that bothers me.
No, you spend like $150 to go to like Sesame Street Place, and all of a sudden like Elmo's not around. It's like, why isn't Elmo here? My kid only wants to see Elmo. We went to Sesame Street Place, and like every parent was throwing a tissy fit about something. Maybe it wouldn't have bothered you, but I assure you, every other parent in America would have been furious.
Probably.
Point is,
my son did see Elmo.
So did mine. My daughter saw Elmo. She really enjoyed it. The point is like, it doesn't matter, because we can come back whenever we want to. So if you don't want to see any animals and you just want to like practice climbing the hill, cool. We will walk up and down this hill for the next 6 hours, because this is basically our own private playground right now, because it doesn't cost us anything to come here.
Do you want me to blow your mind?
What?
Memberships have been around when we were kids too, because my aunt had a bunch of them.
I know, but we didn't. I mean, we, meaning my family didn't. My wife had a membership to Six Flags in Chicago.
Wait, there's memberships to Six Flags?
Yeah.
That shit is getting got when my son's old enough.
Yeah, dude, there's a membership to Sesame Place for like twice the cost. I was like, oh, we could totally. I wonder. Now, I don't think there's a membership for a Fast Pass. So, I'm just saying.
I just really want to go to Fright Fest at Six Flags, but
I really don't.
Fuck you.
And that's going to do it for us this week, everybody. As usual, you can find me at Chris Moss again on Twitter. You can find me at Rampant55 on Twitch. And of course, you can find us at our website, twodumbdads.com. Nick, where can we find you?
You can find me at NWestmeyer on Twitter, at NWestmeyer on the gram. You can also find us at Two Dumb Dads on the gram, and at 2_dumb_dads on Twitter.
You can tell which one I made.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time, be well.